Welcome to Roosevelt High School, downtown Fresno, California. I'm Andrew Clark, and this is Josh Olford sitting with me. We've got a rugby match between Buchanan Bears and the Clovis West Golden Eagles, just about to kick off. Welcome, Josh.
Good to be here.
Glad to have you here.
Perfect night for rugby.
It is. It's a beautiful night, playing under the lights. Great field conditions. Buchanan kicks off. Clovis West bobbles the ball, knocks it forward. Buchanan's playing advantage. Got an advantage going for him.
Referee for the day is Jeff Jury in the neon green with the white mustache.
Looking sharp out there.
Always.
Both teams choosing to wear red today. Black shorts of Clovis West, white shorts of Buchanan. Clovis West has the eagle on the back of their jerseys under the numbers. So the first scrum of the night. Buchanan's put in. Picked up by the scrum half. Oh, and another
good tackle.
Bobbled by Buchanan. Forced by a quality tackle. Clovis West has got the ball, securing it in a nice ruck. Buchanan's trying to drive over, but unsuccessful. Poor pass on Clovis West. And results in a knock.
I'll tell you what, this is this is a rivalry match as far as local high schools go. I went to Clovis West in high school, and Buchanan was always sort of the big rival, so you could expect to see some tenacity out there tonight.
So you're a Clovis West grad. There's not going to be any biased reporting today, is there?
No.
That's good.
To answer your question, sternly.
So we've had a few handling errors on both teams. Could just be nerves. First time playing at this field, first time playing on live television. And that ball went in the tunnel and right back out, and so they're going to redo it. That ball needs to be fed in the middle of the tunnel, and then the number 2 position, which is known as the hook, reaches up with his leg and grabs it back with his foot and kicks it to the back of the scrum, and that was unsuccessful that time. It went in and straight back out the end of the tunnel. So this time it looks like it's successful. Yeah. Scrum half of Buchanan was there quickly to disturb the ball. It looks like we've got a turnover. Buchanan's got possession of the ball, but there's a good ruck.
Pulling it up again.
Penalty against Clovis West. Buchanan chooses to tap and go quickly.
Let's go!
Ball out to the wing, out to the fullback.
Good. Got some speed inside.
Juking and jiving, gaining 5-10 meters there. Buchanan maintaining possession, utilizing their big men. Crash the ball forward. Pass out to the fly half, out to the outside center. Recycling the ball, nice, good, secure ruck. Clovis West was up fast. They may have been offsides on that.
Looks like they're letting them play through it. A lot of jersey grabbing out there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. You need to make good contact with the shoulders. Don't be reaching for people. So going through the hands of Buchanan. Gaining some ground, but not much. Buchanan still has the ball. Moving forward, inside center's taking an inside line, gaining quite a bit of ground, just a few meters short of the try line.
Looks like Clovis West needs to spread out a little bit to the right there.
There's an overload to the left. And a try scored. First try of the night. Puts Buchanan on the board, 5-0.
And you'll see when they score there that they have to forcefully touch the ball down, essentially in the end zone, with their hand. Unlike football, where it's just crossing the plane is a score. Here, it has to be crossed and then pressed down under control with a hand, and it can actually be held up by the opposing team as well and prevented from touching the ground. But it's a little different, and you can see as to where he's kicking from, where he touches that ball down is the same. You draw a straight line, essentially straight back, and that's where the conversion is taken from.
So he's allowed to go back as far as he wants or as close as he wants, but he has to be on the same plane that he crossed the plane of the try line. Is that correct?
Sounds right. Sounds right. There you go. Good strike. Puts an extra 2 on, so we have 7-0. The first 5 minutes, Buchanan's up.
Buchanan 7, Clovis West 0. Got Roger Skinner, one of the coaches for Buchanan, jogging off the field. Kicking specialist in his own right.
It's a good kickoff.
Fight for the ball. Can't really see who has it. Looks like Buchanan maintained possession. Good contact. Good gain of a few meters. A lot of pushing and shoving going on in that ruck. Got a penalty against Clovis West. Buchanan's trying to go fast. The referee slows him down. Apparently didn't go through the mark. When you tap and go fast, you have to be within basically a 1 or 2 meter radius around the referee. And because he's unable to go fast, he chooses to regroup and kick for touch, which he doesn't make. Recovered by Clovis West and kicked downfield. Now Buchanan's got the ball moving upfield. Pick and go off the side of the ruck. Forwards utilizing the ball. Now it looks like, I believe it's a scrum half, or no, that's a prop going in there and picking and going with the ball.
Definitely, we're seeing a lot of forward play early on.
Another penalty on Clovis West. Tap and go. Buchanan looks to be utilizing that fast tap and go off of penalties, trying to catch Clovis West on their back foot. Clovis West seems to be responding. Oh, and he got another penalty here.
So the ref's calling in the captains for a moment to address something.
There has been quite a few penalties in these first
very early on.
First opening 7 minutes or so. A lot of penalties. It's not the type of game either team wants to see, especially the ref. He doesn't want to blow his whistle all day long. He wants to let these kids play.
There's been several games played earlier this afternoon, and I think this may be the last one of the evening. So there's definitely a little more anxiety, some nerves, and just only takes a couple hits or a couple passes to sort of get those out of the system. So hopefully we'll see a little cleaner ball from here on out.
Yeah, the early stages of the game, you never know what you're going to get, and so far we've had a little bit of sloppy play, but I'm sure that'll clean up.
So we'll have a line out to Buchanan, I believe.
So we've got Buchanan throwing the ball in. They lift the player. They win it, but apparently it was not thrown straight. So Clovis West is electing to scrum down. Just about 10-15 meters outside of the try zone. So it'll be Clovis West ball.
We'll see what they go with here, being backed up in their corner. We'll expect a kick, given Clovis West wins the scrum.
One would assume, but you never know. Ball squirts out. Buchanan picks it up, but he's not going to allow it.
Go the sir addressing technical things.
They scrum down. Clovis West still maintains possession of the ball. Feeds it in.
Nope. Collapse.
Looks like it's collapsed.
So that will be That's
he's pointing towards Buchanan's ball.
Clovis West needs to back up to the goal line there. Don't turn your backs.
Buchanan within striking distance, just less than 10 meters outside of the scoring, but it looks like Clovis West has stolen ball, driven over.
Get some clearance there.
Kicked it downfield, maintaining good. Got good field possession gain on that, and into touch.
It's a good kick and chase there by Clovis West. Good clearance as well. It's hard to kick when you're backed up, and you have 3 or 4 guys running up on you. To get a good kick out of the red zone there is crucial.
And so you make that kick to relieve pressure. You don't want to be in your own try zone. Even if you have possession of the ball, you want to kick it downfield. You'd rather play the game in the middle of the field than backed up against your own try.
We got some strong running here.
Great running from Clovis West.
A
lot of pushing in that ruck or maul. Doesn't seem to be many people coming in low and driving.
It's good to see a little more back ball as well. We've seen a lot of forwards thus far. See some strong running out of Clovis West backfield.
So the maul was held up or not utilized by Clovis West, and was taken in, and they didn't go to ground, and they also didn't utilize it off the back of a maul, and so therefore it's a turnover ball. Buchanan scrum, they're put in. The referee doesn't like it. It's going to stand them up, have a quick chat with front row, tell them how to clean it up, and hopefully they'll do better on this second go around.
Absolutely, and the issue up front too, the reason with all the whistles is safety is a big issue, especially at the high school level. Just making sure those front rows, those first 3 in the scrum are coming together correctly and just playing it safe and efficiently. So you very well may be blowing the whistle quite a bit more, but it's mostly for safety purposes. Yeah,
and early in the game he will have some chats with players. And let him know exactly what he's looking for, what he wants. He talks to both teams before the game, lets them know what he's looking for, but during the game he can offer instruction as well. At some point, if he continues to have to warn people, he will go from a quick discussion to a penalty, and he will no longer offer them the warnings. Into touch.
Definitely. Each referee sort of has their own style or preferences, I suppose you could say. You'll find some that sort of more sticklers about little things, whereas some are a little more lenient, let play continue. But at least it's cleaning it up early, and hopefully we'll get some cleaner play as we go on.
So line out 1 by Clovis West. Got some ball movement. Not a lot of ground gained by them, but they're still in possession. Ball's presented, and we got a chip over. Buchanan has a fullback fielding in his own try zone.
He's taking it out.
Taking it out, electing to take it out.
Way to hold on to it. It was a good tackle.
Buchanan still got it, driving forward. So Buchanan's going side to side, utilizing the whole field, the whole width of the field, and unfortunately it bites them. They got a forward pass, and now it's going to be Clovis West ball in prime field position, potentially in scoring position. They need to, Buchanan chose not to kick downfield and relieve pressure as Clovis West did earlier, but now Clovis West is back in possession, and see what they do with it.
Blown up again.
So another scrum that the referee is slightly unhappy with. Gonna do it again. Clovis West ball. Ball's in, kick straight out. Oh, nope, and Buchanan
wins it.
Wins it down the sideline and into touch. When that flag goes up on the sideline, that means someone's ran out of bounds. We say kicked into touch or ran into touch, and it is a turnover. So the other team's ball, the team that ran out of bounds, has to give up possession to the other team. So now Clovis West has the ball back. Score of 7-0.
It's a little overhead. Buchanan takes advantage of it.
So we had a brief maul there and finally went to ground. Buchanan still has the ball. Nice little fake by the Buchanan scrum half. Gains a couple meters. Picks it up right off the side of the ruck. The number 2 presents ball. Clovis West has a couple guys there to counter ruck, but Buchanan still in possession. Fly half chooses to chip and over. No fullback for Clovis West back, and the pressure is on. Buchanan picks it up and over the try line. That was an amazing try by Buchanan. Starts with a beautiful kick. Fullback not back to recover the kick from Clovis West.
And a good chase.
Great chase by Buchanan. Multiple players on Buchanan. And picks it up and walks it in. Basically falls in, if you will. So now we've got a score of 12-0. You can see the coaches from both staffs have elected to go with the Hawaiian shirts tonight. I don't know if they had a conference call beforehand, but everybody's decided to wear Hawaiian shirts.
A sideline theme.
Struck nicely, but wide right.
Let's hope to see it clean up a little more, still with about 20 minutes left in this first half.
So there's a replay. You can see Coach Roger Skinner standing to the right and bringing out the tee. And so the game is back on in just a second as soon as they kick it off.
Actually, Buchanan out here and Clovis West started several years ago, but Buchanan primarily have a high school American, Trent Barnes, who attends Clovis North, but however, due to it being a club sport, he was able to play. And so we're honored to have him coming out of Fresno and representing us. And just to take rugby to the next level, especially here in America, that's something we pride ourselves on, seeing guys really embrace the sport. And so our hats go off to him.
Well, both of those Barnes kids have had a pretty successful short career in rugby. Tanner, his older brother, graduated from Buchanan a couple years ago and is now playing up at Clovis, Central Washington, University of Central Washington, and he's played for some All-American select sides, and now his younger brother, Trent, is playing at a high level and getting some recognition from the All-American select sides as well. So good rugby blood in that family, even though they haven't been playing very long. But it is, as young as rugby has been in Fresno, it's great to see some players leaving Fresno and having great success at the next level.
Absolutely, and you can really receive what you put into it. And so those are two good examples of just guys that have sort of sold out and really trained hard and embraced learning the sport and playing to the best of their abilities. And that's, with it emerging, there's a lot of places you can take it nowadays, and college is blowing up. A lot of schools have it. There are a number of schools that actually offer out scholarship type programs for it. But it's definitely growing beyond high school and beyond college.
Yeah, in fact, it's the fastest growing team sport in the United States right now. So rugby across the country is really getting big, but here in the Central Valley, Fresno specifically, it's gaining popularity in a hurry. And Clovis West is back on the attack, and Buchanan playing a little defense. Now we've got an advantage in favor of Clovis West. I believe we had a player diving over from Buchanan. In rugby, you have to be on your feet at all times. You cannot be on the ground. You have to be playing on your feet, and if you're diving onto the ground, you're essentially out of the play. So the referee calls that, and Clovis West takes advantage, gains about 10-15 meters out of the penalty.
Seeing a decent balance of some forward and back ball as well, which is nice to see. Just teams flowing, moving it to both ends of the field.
Yeah, both these teams have shown a good balance, and a good balanced team is hard to defend against. A lot of teams are heavy on one side, whether they're better in the forwards or better in the backs.
Mm-hmm.
Some are fast, some are slow, some are powerful, but when you have a good balanced team that's equally good across the board, they're very hard to defend, and we have been seeing both of these teams spreading that ball around.
So far, it hasn't seemed like one is really capitalizing on the other, despite the score. I mean, this previous try was mostly just kind of handling errors based on a kick. So this is still certainly anybody's game. Ooh.
Clovis West, although they haven't dropped the ball, they're making some questionable passes, throwing the ball around. That's not going to play into their hands by any means. Although they still have the ball, they're going in the wrong direction. They're gaining 5 meters and getting pushed back about 10, and now they're pushed into touch. So Buchanan will take over possession, assuming they can win the line out, and we'll see what they can do.
I'm seeing a lot of good, strong, low tackling from Buchanan, especially up front their forwards. That's something that does separate this sport from others. A lot of people make comparisons to football. Well, football, you see a lot more shoulder tackles, sort of head to knees, head to thighs type things like that, diving, leaving your feet. Whereas in rugby, it's more of a combination of kind of wrestling and football, more double legs. The tackler must wrap, which makes this sport safer in a way, because then nobody's just sort of bull rushing people, and no tackles above the shoulders, so that sort of takes head-to-head type stuff out of the equation. Really cleans the sport up, and it makes it more technical and more complex, which in turn makes it more fun.
Yeah, the concussion discussion is quite the hot topic amongst, specifically the NFL, but all forms of American football. And although rugby is aware of the concussion issue, it doesn't seem to be as prevalent in rugby, even without the helmets. And you have that specifically because people are taught to form tackle, and you can't use a weapon such as your helmet or your shoulder pads to go after another player, specifically because you don't have those weapons.
Definitely. It's a fast-paced, very precise sport. And it takes a lot of agility, attention, strength. It really challenges you to get in the work off the field as well, to prepare yourself for this kind of physical competition.
So we've got another scrum that went awry.
Still working it out.
Clovis West scrum. The referee is just not pleased with the way these two teams are coming together, these two front rows. He's calling out the Catons, and they're not quite abiding by his rules.
Actually, in 2009, there was only one team here in the Central Valley, and I believe it was Bullard. Was it not the first high school program to start? And then I believe in 2010, it evolved into 6 teams, which added Buchanan, Clovis West, Roosevelt, and just recently Fresno High, and by 2015 they're expecting at least 3 more teams. So the popularity of this sport is certainly growing, but that also can somewhat add to why we're seeing a number of mistakes. There's a lot of fresh, new young guys out there learning how to play the sport. It's a lot to learn. It takes a number of years to really understand the full game, the technicalities, and so it's understandable why we're seeing a lot of stops and starts here.
Yeah, there's no doubt that rugby is very new to Fresno, but it's relatively new to all of Americans for that matter. And as you said, it's a complex game that can take a number of years to learn all the intricacies, and so there inevitably are some mistakes made, but we do have 2 good teams out here playing right now, and they'll find a way to clean up these mistakes.
Yeah, despite the sort of inner city rivalries we have, it definitely is a community within itself. Just all these players, sort of enemies for that 70 minutes they play on the field, but then afterwards we all have something in common, and that's really cool to see. They usually bind up and sort of thank the fans and whatnot. But it's growing in numbers, and it's building sort of a bigger form of camaraderie than just the individual teams, which is really great to see.
So Clovis West took it into touch. We're going to have a line out, Buchanan's throw in. Line out the throw must go 5 meters from the sideline, and it does. Tipped back to the scrum half for Buchanan. Inside run, but a beautiful form tackle from Clovis West. So we've got a tremendous battle in the ruck, and apparently it is won by Clovis West. The rucks have not been the cleanest in this game. There's a lot of back and forth, and neither team is really dominating in the rucks. But in this instance, Clovis West has taken advantage of it, and they're moving downfield. Quick defender up there by Buchanan. Would be number 2, MJ. Clovis West has the ball on the outside, but can't take advantage of it. Some poor passing, and gone into touch, but apparently it is kicked into touch by Buchanan, so Clovis West will maintain the ball.
Yeah, the way defense is designed in rugby is more of coming up together in a flat line and sort of pushing to the sidelines. Unlike football, rugby, you don't want to go out of bounds, obviously. It's generally an instant turnover. So you can use that sideline as an extra defender. And unfortunately what we're seeing a lot tonight is a lot of east and west style running. And so when you pick up that ball and you run straight for the sideline, you're making it easy for defense. All they have to do is keep just sort of shuffling out and coming up until they run you out of bounds. And that's what we're seeing. We're not seeing as much north and south, sort of strong nose running. We're seeing more east-west stuff.
Yeah, the sideline can actually act as a defender on both sides, and if you're running sideways, it's easy to, as a defense, to utilize that sideline to essentially tackle the player, because the minute he steps out of bounds, it's your ball. So Buchanan's back on the attack now.
That was a good steal.
Clovis West has it. Moving upfield. And into touch. As much as you don't like seeing go into touch, sometimes it's inevitable.
It would appear the lineouts are working a little better for teams than the scrums are right now, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so Buchanan's back on the attack, and we've got a penalty here. Clovis West.
The mustache bandit in the neon's got a busy night. That's for sure.
He is working hard out there. His lungs are going to be tired from blowing that whistle and talking to these guys. But that's a good name for Mr. Jeff Jury, the Neon Bandit. That may stick with him.
Yeah. He's
I believe his former nickname was Mr. Monopoly.
Yeah. You can go either way. He's definitely a valued member of the Fresno Rugby community, the men's club, an old boy, and real compassionate guy about the sport, and runs in his family and sort of in this community, that's for sure. I know he's a big reason behind this whole youth movement as well.
Absolutely, and he's out there doing a thankless job. Being the referee is not the most enjoyable job. You get it's very rare that you leave the field as a referee and everybody is telling you what a great job you did. There's usually someone that's unhappy with the job you did.
Yeah. Then again, some people maybe just likes the power, likes telling people what to do. It's that one day of the week where he gets to just tell everybody what to do.
So we've got a score by Buchanan.
Well, the conversion is taken. Just want to mention high school matches will be played every Friday at Todd Beamer Park, located in northeast Fresno, up until April 11th. So
it's every Friday night, right?
Yeah, correct. I think it starts at 5. Yeah, I think usually just about all the high schools get through, and it's always a good time, always a good crowd. And it's fun, especially if you're not familiar with the sport. It's a perfect way to get out there and watch. Trying to find something to do Friday night. Different form of Friday Night Lights, that's for sure.
A lot of friendly faces in the crowd that will teach you the game if you don't know.
Yeah. A lot of angry people too.
There's no one angry.
No.
So conversion is no good. Giving us a score 17 for Buchanan, Clovis West 0. So Josh, I got to tell you, I'm just amazed by these Hawaiian shirts. They're a little distracting. Maybe that's why we're having mistakes out on the field, as they're looking at the sideline at their coaches. And
yeah, they could be. I mean, if anything, it's getting closer to St. Patrick's Day. I'd think there'd be more of a green theme, but it's.
Well, maybe that's what Jeff Jury, our referee, is going with.
It could be. I think he's the only one who's surprisingly with the theme, with the holiday.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know which coach is which right now.
I don't either.
Except for Roger Skinner over there.
Well, that's because of his hair, and his hair is
perfectly feathered.
Pristine. So kickoff, Buchanan gets the ball. And immediate penalty against Buchanan. Clovis West is grabbing the ball. They're looking to go fast. But Buchanan is there to set up. Make a good defensive stop right there.
Good tackle there, good gang tackle.
Pass out to the number 8 man through the fly half, passing it out to the outside center, out to the wing. Great tackle by Buchanan. Virtually no ground gained by Clovis West.
It's a good field right there.
Ooh. Attempted kick right into the hands of the wing of the Buchanan player. And Buchanan is maintaining possession. And
it's good to see us right after that tackle.
So we've got a forward pass on Buchanan. Yeah, it looked like it was a good hit down low, and pops right back up to his feet. It was a great field by the number 14 winger, James. I can't read the writing of number 14's last name. I'm gonna have to talk to our production crew to get some better handwriting on these rosters.
For the sake of his identity, let's go by James. We've got about a minute left in the half here. For those of you just tuning in, the last call was for a forward pass. If you didn't know, in rugby you can only pass it backwards. The ball can be kicked forwards, but only passed backwards.
And there's another example. That was a forward pass, and that's going to end the first half. So we've got a halftime score. Buchanan 17, Clovis West 0. So as long as both Hawaiian-themed coaches go to their respective sides, they will instruct their players as to what they need to be adjusting to correct their mistakes in the second half. And so the team that can come out and make the best adjustments has a very good chance of taking away this victory.
Yeah, I don't think there's a ton. I think it seems like it's pretty even going from both sides. I mean, you look at the scrums, they're blowing up both. Little handling errors. I think Buchanan's doing a better job of taking the ball north and south and just playing the game within the boundaries, where Clovis West is making it a little easier for Buchanan to play defense. Just getting it too wide too fast, not really challenging the tackler. But I still think Clovis West is very much in this, and there's potential for a lot of changes. I mean, rugby changes literally within seconds, a game of rugby. So,
without a doubt, and yeah, I agree. Clovis West has some tremendous athletes out there, but they're not playing sound fundamental rugby. There's a lot of about 15 guys out there playing their own individual game and running sideways. If they were to straighten it out and run upfield as opposed to across field, it would gain them a lot of advantage. So we'll see if they can make adjustments. And as far as Buchanan goes, I think they're doing quite well over there. They've had a few great kicks, strategic kicks. One of them resulted in a try. So
definitely, that's something that's you don't see too much at the younger ages or the high school levels, is the use of the kicking game. If there's one way to make somebody terrified, it's the kicking game. I played fullback my first year against my will, and one of the worst things to do was catch a high ball while 4 big guys are running at you, and I don't really remember if I made half those catches. So it's definitely something that's underutilized in sport, but hopefully we see a little more kicking throughout the second half. We'll see.
Yeah, it can be a tremendous weapon. There's no doubt about that. But Josh, I don't believe for a minute that you were ever terrified when you were back there playing full half. You had or fullback. You had that steely-eyed look on your face that you knew exactly what you were doing, and you were going to make those defenders just pay when they kicked to you.
Yeah, so. That's not very true, but yeah, you saw most of those games. Andrew and I, we were on the same team. Was it 2010, 11? I think it was 2011. We went Fresno Rugby Men's Club went all the way to the Final Four in Colorado. Came up a little empty-handed, but still finished 4th overall in the nation, and we were privileged to be a part of that. But yeah, I played in a couple of those playoff games, and it's a scary thing. I don't like to talk about it.
Well, Fresno as a community has a tremendous rugby tradition. The men's club has been around since 1971. Fresno State has a men's and women's team now, and this youth movement, both at the high school level, and now there's even an under 10, an under 12, and an under 14 team here in town. Tulsa's got a under 14 and an under 12 team as well, and the number of players that are popping up in this Central Valley, specifically in the immediate Fresno area, is just growing day by day. And next year they're talking about having even more teams, and it's amazing the growth that this community has seen.
Absolutely, and it's definitely it's inspiring as well. The school Roosevelt, actually, where we're here at the game, or watching and broadcasting the game today, they've come certainly a long way in their short amount of time being a club, as well as many of these high schools. And actually, that leads me to just mentioning March 20th at 5:30 p.m. at Royce Hall at Fresno High. The documentary Red, White, Black, and Blue will be, I guess, shown for the first time. It's a documentary about an inner city high school rugby program that travels to New Zealand and establishes relationships and deeper meaning of the sport. And it would be great if you were able to come out and support. Admission is $5, $2 for students, and $1 for current players. So if you're interested at all, please, March 20th at 5:30 p.m., Royce Hall at Fresno High. It'd be great to come out and show your support and just rally around a program that's really defied a lot of odds and really come very far in the past couple of years. So.
Yeah, and so that's a fundraiser both for Fresno High, but also for the entire Youth Foundation, Central California Youth Rugby Foundation, and that essentially supports all these teams out here: Clovis, Clovis West, Buchanan, Roosevelt, Fresno, Bullard, and also any future teams that may pop up within the next couple of years. So it's a great fundraiser. I've heard great things about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'll definitely be there on the 20th. And there will also be a trailer for a movie that they're doing specifically about the start or the founding of Roosevelt High School's rugby team and some of the trials and tribulations that they went through and some of the tremendous benefits that the youth gained by being part of that rugby organization. And their coach, Herb Breen, is still the coach and has done a tremendous job with them. So not only will you get to see the documentary Red, White, Black, and Blue, but you also get to see a 7-minute trailer on the new Roosevelt movie. So that's pretty exciting to have a big-time Hollywood movie made about Roosevelt rugby. So we're just about getting ready for kickoff of the second half, and it's been a good game so far. We've got a score of 15-0 in favor of Buchanan.
Yeah, nothing completely one-sided thus far. Yeah, I think hopefully we could see some changes, a little better, more cleaner rugby. We had a lot of penalties and sort of little dumb mistakes you don't like seeing. So we'll hope to see a little more physicality and, some more exciting rugby the second half. Hopefully maybe we can make it a better game.
So the Hawaiian shirts have done their job, and now it's time for the players to do their job.
They're just hiding behind the shirts. I should have put one on and just stood there.
Well, now the head coach of Buchanan actually played rugby in Hawaii, so maybe that has something to do with it. But how they convinced their opposing team of Clovis West to put on Hawaiian shirts, I don't know. But maybe Gavin's a heck of a negotiator.
Yeah, it doesn't explain the 6 other guys. We'll be figuring that one out all night.
Substitution by Buchanan.
Now in men's level as well as college level, 15 players dress, and each number representing a different position. However, 16 through 23 are reserve numbers, so there's 8 reserves. And once they are subbed off the field, they are not allowed to return. So they permanently take the field. However, I believe at the high school level, it is an open substitution system, similar to football. So you can come off for 5-10 minutes, however long, and then return to the field, which is nice because then it's not like everybody gets a chance to play as well. At the men's college level, you have a 5-player substitution cap, and so there's a chance that 2 or 3 players may not step on the field, which too often is too bad because every player is good enough.
But that also plays into strategies of both teams. When you can substitute players at will, you may have a totally different strategy than teams at the next level might, where you start with 15 and you need to get the most out of those 15 players and then make strategic substitutions as the game goes on. So as a lot of these players progress on to the next level of hopefully playing college or men's club rugby somewhere, they'll need to make that adjustment.
Definitely. It seems like a good way to structure the high school level because it's more about everybody getting a chance to play and learn the sport and develop. And so it's good to be able to see people everybody sort of get their share and still stay competitive at the same time.
So we had a great run by the 13 of Clovis West.
The Neon Bandit hasn't been blowing the whistle as much.
I think he's seen them clean things up a little bit, and
well,
there we go.
Speak
a little too soon. Clovis West attempting to tap and go fast. Going upfield. Oh, now we may have a talking to this particular Buchanan player.
We could see a card.
Oh, that could be classified as a dangerous tackle, but not right now.
Well, where's the support? This is where things clash right here. Is when you're up close like this, just it's brutal.
Every inch counts.
This is where you're happy to be a back and not a forward.
So the forwards are doing the dirty work right now, really struggling, and we have a penalty.
Is that
against Buchanan? Clovis West going to get another opportunity to 5 meters out and crashing it forward. Beautiful defense by Buchanan, stopping him short.
And typically on a tap and go, you must be retreated 10 meters. However, when backed up against your goal line like that, the goal line essentially serves as the 10-meter line, even if it's 4 or 5 meters off. But you can't come up until the ball is kicked forward the slightest bit.
Clovis West still on the attack.
Buchanan's doing a good job of coming up.
Possession is such a key factor, and Clovis West doing a great job of maintaining possession, and just as I say that, they lose possession.
Let's see what the call is here.
It's like the referee's doing some form of dance out there right now. He continues to dance.
And don't worry, everybody, he's not cold at all because he has the most giant mustache on his face to keep him warm. For what he lacks in hair on his head, he makes up on his face.
So we've got a scrum going to Buchanan. I'm sorry, going to Clovis West. Still in the attacking position.
Let's see if they can clean it up here for... Well, it's a perfect opportunity for Clovis West to get back in this one. Got 30 minutes. There's more than enough time.
Yeah, 17 points can be scored in no time, and 30 minutes is more than no time. Clovis West makes a nice pass to the outside, but beautiful defense by Buchanan. Stops him short, just short.
This is
looks like they maybe crossed the line, but they need to get it down. And
yeah, this is very similar to almost watching a football game with like the red zone sort of offense defense. You know, you start defense is spread a little more thin. Offense becomes a little more desperate, a lot more running, things like that. Same kind of concept when you see that sort of inside the 5 meters. However, you don't have 4 downs to do it. It's all about retaining possession and being smart about things. And so this is where you see it get physical, you see it get aggressive, and it's exciting. It's a lot of forward stuff, and you'll see forwards mostly take on a brunt of the hard work in this region.
So it was held up in the try zone, brought back out 5 meters, and Buchanan's going to get the ball. You would think if they win this, they're going to kick to relieve pressure.
Waiting to hear what the call was there. Is it a wheel?
It's an unhappy referee.
He's ready to go home.
I believe this is the second game of the night. When you talk about these players who are 16, 17, 18 years old, working hard out there, it's an awful lot of work for the referee as well.
There we go.
Buchanan wins the scrum out, and kicked into touch. Going to be Clovis West ball.
Well, even that right there will take a little bit of the stress off. Let's just see if, so far, Clovis West hasn't done bad with winning some of these lineouts. So if they can get a strong run through their back line, we can make something out of this, out of all that hard work there. Keep it tight inside.
Going for the short line out. It has to go a minimum of 5 meters. And
what was the call there?
Once again, unhappy referee. Didn't like what was going on, so he's going to call for a scrum.
Probably more likely to make him unhappy. We've talked about it earlier in the evening, but the amount of fitness and sort of physical prep it takes for this sport is it's a lot, to say the least. And it's not fun, but it pays off. And you know, moments like this, sort of we go into that last 20-minute stretch, catching that second wind and being fit really can make the difference between a good team and a great team.
Yeah, there's no doubt the best teams are often the fittest teams. You can be a good team, but if you're going to be a great team, you better be fit. So we've got a high kick from Buchanan, almost fielded by himself. And Clovis West gets the ball, maintains possession through the ruck. Buchanan can't seem to put him on the deck. They finally do. Kick by Clovis West.
We're seeing a little more kicking game.
Yeah, the fullback is in a great position.
It's a great
Beats
field.
One guy, and he tries to kick back.
This is Super 15s. Oh, it's going out of bounds. Oof.
We've got a penalty against Buchanan. The player is not retreating. Whoever kicks the ball, you have to be behind that player that kicks the ball in order to be on sides. If you're not behind him, you have to try and retreat to get behind him after he kicks, and they chose not to retreat, so penalty called against them. Clovis West is back in the attacking position inside the 22.
Looks like Buchanan's advantage, not releasing. Going back to the fitness thing, it's especially with developing newer programs, you got to find a balance, because you know, with only a certain amount of practice time, teaching the sport takes a lot of attention and effort, and so it's comes with time and experience to develop fitness on, because you need to take most of the time to make sure people understand what the sport of rugby is, because there's so many facets to it, and it's
well, and you got to put some responsibility on or a lot of responsibility on the players as well to do their fitness on their own. Because yeah, you're right. When you're trying to teach the youth a new game that's essentially foreign to them, you need to spend so much of your time teaching fundamentals, teaching basic skills. You don't have the time just to run suicides or lines or any type of fitness.
And even sometimes just suicides or liners aren't enough. They don't simulate what a game is actually like.
Correct. Nothing quite like in-game fitness.
And then to make it all even more miserable, trying to remember everything while you're tired is just so difficult.
That was probably the most difficult thing for you, Josh, wasn't it? To actually use your brain when you were really tired?
Yeah, you know, I don't use my brain very often. I'm a 4.0 student, thank you. But yeah.
At which community college is that?
Yeah, that's funny. So we're making it fun. Well.
So Buchanan's attacking again.
So yeah, Buchanan, good offense.
Right here in front of us, right in front of the press box that we're in. Pass to the fly half. And the fly half from Buchanan's choosing to wear a scrum cap. Oh, great breakthrough by a Buchanan player, and he is fast. One player to beat, 2 players to beat, and he's still on his feet. They can't bring him down, just 5 meters short of the try line. Fly half picks it up.
It's kind of what Andrew used to look like here back in the day before he had all of his ACLs removed and meniscus removed. And
I'm not sure I could ever run like that, but we've got a score by Buchanan.
we call him No Knees Andrew Clark, but it's okay. We love him.
I'm glad that everyone still loves me. Okay, 18-19. What do we have? 22-0. 22-0. I'm going to get the score right one of these days.
Just waiting on the conversion.
So the try is worth 5 points. Conversion's worth 2 points. If you do them both, 7 points, just like in football.
Yeah, those 2 points certainly make a big difference. I think we talked about that earlier. I mean, you know, the difference between 21 points and 15 points is pretty drastic. So it's important to make sure that the person you have kicking knows what they're doing. And if he does, making sure that a couple others do as well, because it's important to have depth there.
Yeah, it is a skill. There's no doubt about that. And even the best skilled kickers can have off nights, and so you may want to look at a different kicker if your number one is not working out. But that was a beautiful kick by the number 10 from Buchanan, who's Mr. Myers. Kickoff, but
What's up?
So we're going to have a scrum down, Clovis West. 20 minutes remaining in the second half. Buchanan leading by a score of 24-0. Clovis West has really had some key scoring opportunities that they just haven't been able to capitalize on, but they have been knocking on the door a number of times.
Absolutely, and that's another thing to say too, is typically at the end of a game, even, you know, whether the score be 24-10, 24-5, 24-22, it doesn't, the score never proves how close the game actually is. Because you could be battling it out on the goal line for 15 minutes straight and maybe walk away with no points, but that doesn't mean anybody walked over you or there was a lack of effort there necessarily.
That's a good point. So Clovis West had an advantage they were playing with, and now the penalty's been called.
A little bit of confusion on Clovis West part. This is a big, oh, they're going for points here, okay. So they're gonna opt to kick. So this is I think this is the first time in the game where a penalty has been opted to kick. And now there's 4 different possibilities off of penalties. You can either kick for touch, as we talked about earlier, so you can kick for the out of bounds, and in turn you get to throw a line out. You can kick for points if you trust your kicker's strength and you're within field range. You can scrum down, or as you've seen quite a bit this evening, the tap and go. And if you act quick on the tap and go, you can take advantage of teams not being in position. So as you can see there, 3 points for Clovis West, getting some points on the board, kind of ending the streak there. But yeah, so you'll see teams, especially in higher levels, as well as around here, different teams are structured differently. They have sort of their own bread and butter in different regions of the sport. So if a team's really good at lineouts, you'll see more kicking for touch. Scrums, if you have a good kicker, you'll kick for points, and so on.
So Clovis West ticks over 3 points on that that penalty. Score 24-3. And it can be something as small as that, a 3-point penalty to open the floodgates and get Clovis West right back into this game. Ball has to go 10 meters. It easily does. Bounces just inside. It's a beautiful kick.
Looked like it went straight out.
Clovis West on the move. They've got Big forward, running forward, and hard to tackle. Clovis West kicks away possession, but it could be a good kick.
Yeah.
The fullback is back there, gained a lot of possession, but there's not many people chasing. Buchanan elects to kick back downfield. Number 7 needs to retreat, and he did not, and the referee will call that undoubtedly. So Buchanan
they missed
not
the whistle there.
Heard the whistle, but the whistle was blown a while back. What happened is Buchanan's kicker, who is deep in his own 22, kicked the ball downfield, and players who were offsides, not only did they not retreat, but they played the ball or attempted to play the ball, and that's a penalty. So Clovis West will get the ball right at midfield with the penalty, choosing to kick for touch, going for position. Looks like that may not be out.
Through the back?
Straight through the back.
Yeah, so essentially that whoever kicks that ball becomes a line of scrimmage, essentially putting everybody onside, so nobody in front of that kicker can make an approach on that ball until the individual who kicked it passes them. So everybody needs to show some sort of attempt to walk backwards and get behind the guy who kicked it before anybody can play it, or else this game would be too easy. But it's sometimes you sort of a brain fart there where you kick it and you just kind of want to sit back and watch it. I found myself there a couple of times until everybody yells at me.
Get him, Drew! Get him!
Clovis West gaining some good ground after receiving the kick. Good strong base in the ruck set by Clovis West. Buchanan fighting back, but Clovis West maintains possession.
Closing out.
Buchanan's choosing not to counter ruck very much and just be there in defense, which can often be a good decision. And turned over ball. Buchanan going downfield and into touch. It's a great steal by Buchanan.
And it's funny you mentioned that with the staying out of the counter ruck. You'll see the ruck essentially is formed when the player's tackled, and you see those players sort of binding over the top of each other. Well, you can see Buchanan sort of opting out and deciding not to, rather fanning players out on defense, because it's so physically exhausting to continually pour guys into that. And so they're filling gaps on D, and in turn it's actually paying off because they're making more tackles and they're stopping more games. So
Buchanan got the line out and back on the offense. Great run by number 21, right up the middle, still on his feet, and finally goes down, and Buchanan's grabbing the ball quick off the back of the ruck and gaining a lot of meters.
Sloppy tackling.
Just off the side, and he's almost over the try line, but he's got to get it down.
He's going to hold him up.
Smartly elects to go to ground and present ball. Buchanan still in possession, right off the side. Still not quite over, just shy, about 2 meters shy. And he's over, and he finally got it down.
Appears the sprinklers were coming on as the man Andrew Clark himself was keeping you guys up to speed. I was avoiding getting sprayed.
So George Kalenjian gets a score there.
We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations.
That's spot on.
I blame the person who wrote the names down. Just kidding.
So going for the conversion now. Number 10, Mr. Myers again.
So far has been doing pretty well, striking it. You can see the man in the flowered shirt to the right of the Neon Bandit is nothing but the Roger Skinner. Longtime Fresno Rugby Men's Club great kicker himself.
He's won a lot of games with his right boot, trying to pass on his knowledge to this younger generation.
That's one thing I remember about that guy was he's the one guy who's like the most calm, just out there in the heat of the moment, tie game in the last 80 minutes, and he's just like, just calm, just taking it easy. Been there, done that.
You can't ruffle Roger Skinner's feathers just as you can't ruffle his hair.
I think I heard him yell once.
Cool, calm, and collected.
That's the thing too, is you play such a better game if you're just having fun with it and just shaking sort of the anxieties. That was the biggest thing for me, especially starting at the men's club level, because we didn't have high school rugby when I was at Clovis West. So I started playing for the men's club actually, when I was 18, and that sort of started it for me. But it was so intimidating, and I wound up not having as much fun because I was more afraid of just being at that level. And when I learned to do that, it just became natural. So the important thing for all these guys is that they're having fun with it and wanting to get better and develop it.
Yeah, you've got to enjoy yourself in this game.
It's hard not to.
So we had a short arm penalty there. Short arm is a minor infraction. You're not allowed to kick it into touch and maintain possession, so it's basically a free kick, and they choose to tap and go, and still in possession. Just about 10 meters shy of the try line. Be really great for Clovis West if they could get at least one try over tonight.
Yeah.
They've had their opportunities, there's
Absolutely.
no doubt.
And if you look at, the amount of possession per side, it's been fairly even both ways. And Clovis West has done a very good job at retaining possession, moving the ball. It's just this end of the field is just, it's difficult for every team, but they've definitely struggled with just getting it over that line.
We have a knock-on. The play doesn't stop when a knock-on occurs. It can keep going if the referee calls advantage. And Buchanan has picked it up, and they are taking advantage of the advantage.
Watch the high tackles.
But they shed off of him, and he gains quite a few meters and continuing to move upfield.
Yeah, this is the point of the game where just tackles start to go high, a lot of grabbing, not as much wrapping up and sort of gut checks. But then the same with catching the ball and making good passes. It's all mental. Oh, wow, except for that.
That's
It was borderline.
Borderline dip tackle. In rugby, you're not allowed to pick a player up and drive him into the ground. The referee decides that was not a tip tackle or a dangerous tackle. So they continue to play on right up until the point that they're driven out of bounds.
Yeah, a lot of people love sort of that big kind of, the big hits, the whole double leg takedown type thing, and it's great, and it can be a morale booster. However, it's got to be within the parameters of what's legal, because people can get seriously hurt. I've seen people get dropped on their head or their neck, and then that's with no padding, it can go very bad.
Yeah, so many of rugby's rules are situated around the safety of players, and the IRB, the International Rugby Board, takes safety very seriously, and they adjust rules accordingly to make sure players are safe.
Yeah, absolutely, and you typically see more of. It looks like they're calling this early. Well, it appears we're going to have to wrap things up a little earlier. It looks as if facilities have the sprinklers going off right now. However, it looks like the score kind of was a little out of reach, but either way, it was a good 60-so minutes.
So we have a final score: Buchanan 29, Clovis West 3. The game was definitely closer than what the score indicates. But here's one of the best parts of rugby is all players are required to shake hands of the opposing team. They'll come together in unison, thank the crowd for showing up, thank the supporters for being here, and it's a way to promote sportsmanship, it's a way to promote camaraderie, and it's an outstanding game, and it's one of the few games in the world that requires this kind of sportsmanship. So here you'll see both teams interlocking arms, a way to essentially say thank you to the fans. A way to say thank you, and then also show that what battles they just fought on the field are left on the field, and now they can be friends and good sportsmen afterwards.
Exactly, and that a lot of people hear or misconceive sort of the cliche of it's a gentleman's game, but it definitely is a gentleman's game just because of things like this. Like, you hate each other for 70 or 80 minutes, but you're brothers afterwards, so that's what makes it great.
So that'll do it for us tonight. Congratulations to Buchanan, moves on, gets another victory under their belt. Clovis West shouldn't hang their heads, or have plenty to be proud of, but also plenty to work on. So congratulations to both teams, and congratulations to all of Fresno rugby community for a great event put on tonight. And hopefully you can join us March 20th for the Red, White, Black, and Blue movie premiere and fundraiser at Fresno High School.
Definitely.